Hello students, this is Vasudev Panda. Welcome to Master of English. Welcome to another class of English. As you know, we are studying the CHSE Odisha plus 2 second year students English compulsory English. Today, the chapter I have taken a new chapter, that is your potato bloody. And the potato bloody is being written by khuswant Singh, one of the prominent Indian English writer. Okay, and we everybody love our grandparents. So here is a story about the grandparents of the writer himself. So let us see the story. Don't waste your time, and remember, watch till the end. Lots of things are there, lots of fun is there, and it's a funny story. Okay, let's start the story. So my grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, the author is telling here, my grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, mo jejema, ସବୁ ଲୋକଙ୍କର ଜେଜେମା ଭଳିଆ, was an old woman. ଜଣେ ବୃଦ୍ଧା ମହିଳା ଥିଲେ, was an old woman. She had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her. She had been old and wrinkled. What do you mean by wrinkled? W-R-I-N-K-L-E-D. wrinkled means कौन पिले wrinkled कहले कौन देह सारा चमड़ा धुड़ धुड़ हो जिबा चमड़ा धुड़ धुड़ हो जिबा धुड़ धुड़ चमड़ा okay you know what hanging skin with hanging skin that's it and धुड़ धुड़ चमड़ा okay so she had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her दीर्घ 20 वर्ष हैला म तांको जानि छी आ से भलिया बुढ़ी अछंती आ तांकर चमड़ा धुड़ धुड़ हेकी अछि her people said that she had once been young and pretty people said लोक माने कहंती कोन कहंती जे से गोटे दिन एमती थिला से भी माने सुंदरी थिले आकर्षणीय थिले young and pretty young and pretty who told yeah people told and pretty and had a husband आश्चर्य कथा तार गोटे स्वामी भी थिला look at this yes so even she had a husband but that was hard to believe किंतु मते ए कथा विश्वास हो नथिला रे बिले के कहूची the writer himself is telling but it was hard to believe okay my grandfather's portrait कहले कोन रे बिले portrait कहले छवि so my grandmother's portrait hung above the mantelpiece what do you mean by mantelpiece means shelf so my grandfather's portrait hung over the mantelpiece in the drawing room रे मो जेजे बापांकर छवि टंगा हेकी अछि टणा हेकी अछि कोठी को जगह रे where the portrait was hung over the mantelpiece that means shelf he wore a big turban and loose fitting clothes मोर जेजे बापा की भलिया कपड़ा पिनतले whatever clothes he was wearing big turban गोटे पंजाबी माने नॉर्मली हम जानि छे बड़ बड़ पगड़ी पिनंती तो से गोटे टर्बान कहले कोन पगड़ी टर्बान कहले पगड़ी he wore a big turban and loose fitting clothes ढीला पायजामा और पगड़ी पिनछन कोठी से केमती से जो छवि अछि तांकर सेतरे his long white beard कहले कोन बिले दाढ़ी so his long white beard covered the best part of his chest और तांकर दाढ़ी तांकर छाती को almost cover करके रखिछि से फोटो रे okay part of his chest and he looked at least 100 years old and he looked केमती देखा जाउथिले how was his grandfather looking how was he looking he was looking at least 100 years old गोटे 100 वर्षर वृद्ध भलिया देखा जाउथिले के कविंगर जेजे बापा he did not look the sort of person who would have a wife or children and he did not look the sort of a person sort means a type of person who would have what son and daughter or wife माने से लोक को देखिले विश्वास होउनी जे से लोक के बाहा हितिला तांकर पुओ झियो थिले तो किभଳି देखा जाउतिले एक्जेक्टली हाउ ही वाज लुकिंग ही लुक्ड एज इफ ही कुड ओनली हैव लॉट्स एंड लॉट्स ऑफ ग्रैंडचिल्ड्रन से केमती देखा जाउतिले he looked as if he had only lots and lots of grandchildren से केवल जे बापा भले ही देखा जाउतिले जहार खाली नाती नातुणी अपर्याप्त नाती नातुणी थिबा आउ तांको देखले विश्वास होउतिला से केबे बाहा हिथिले आ तांकर पुओ झियो थिले. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, in comparison to my grandfather, if you look at my grandmother, तमे जदि मो जेजेमा को देखिबो से यंग पूरा यंग देखा जाउतिले और प्रेटी अट्रैक्टिव भी देखा जाउतिले के मोर जेजेमा young and pretty. Yeah, no, not my grandmother. Yeah, on the author's grandfather. Young and pretty. The thought was almost revolting. मन को आंदोलित करतला, रिवोल्ट करतला, आंदोलन सृष्टि होतला मन रे. ए भावनाटा जे सतरे ये बुढ़ी सहित से बुढ़ा कौन बाहर थिला हैं was it really true? She often told us for the games she used to play as a child. Mo jejema kon kore she often told us the games she used to play as a child when she was a child. At that time whatever games she was playing she told us about those stories. सेमाने जो गेम सब खेलुते जो खेल सब खेलुते आम भी खेलुचु आजिकल से बेले सेमाने जो खेल खेलुते से खेल विषय कहे किए कहे मोर जेजेमा. And that seemed quite absurd and undignified. Absurd. What do you mean by absurd? Absurd means unusual. Unusual. Absurd. Or you can say baje. Baje kotha कहू एमती कहू ना. Undignified. Undignified means valueless, meaningless. You can say meaningless. Which has no meaning at all, and it's hard to understand. Okay, undignified on her part, and was treated it like the fables on her part, and we treated it like the fables of the prophets she used to tell us, and we believe it in such a way that other stories being told by her like that, fables means what? The fictional stories. Fables means fictional stories. काल्पनिक गल्प तो आम मोर जेजेमा जो स्टोरी विषय कह अथंकर जेजेमा जो गेम विषय कहते से गेम टा स्टोरी मान भाया से जो स्टोरी सब कहे से स्टोरी मानकर भी किसी भैल्यू नथिबो जोटी पक्षी माने कथा होतिबे पशु माने कथा होतिबे हाथी माने कथा होतिबे ए स्टोरी रो किछि माने नै से बळे स्टोरी से जो गेम मान विषय भी कहे से स्टोरी हमको लगे जे ए बळे गेम केबे थिला ना जे मन रो कहू जे एमती आमे एमती भाबू. ओके, treated it like the fables of the prophets. Prophets koile pracharaka, the persons who preach normally and who what directed the humankind towards a new way. Therefore prophets used to tell us she had always been short and fat and slightly bent. Look, mo jejema kemti thile re pile, short choto thile, fat moti thile, a slightly bent टिके बंका थिले. So she had been short and fat and slightly bent. बुढ़ा बुढ़ी माने देखिथिबो बाड़ी धरी की चलंती मुंडो नुई करी अंटा नुई करी हो ना नहीं तो से भलिया she had been short and fat. short गेड़ा थिले हो कि नहीं, फैट मोटा थिले और slightly bent करी के चलीबे के अथरंकर जेजेमा. Okay, her face was a crisscross of wrinkles. Crisscross everywhere to everywhere. Crisscross कहले कोन एपटरु सेपटु एपटु चारियाडे कोन हेतिला crisscross of wrinkles. चारियाडे चमड़ा होली थिला, चमड़ा सब देखा जाउतिला, चमड़ा सब लोचा लोचा हे जैतिला. Crisscross of wrinkles running from everywhere to everywhere प्रत्येक जगह एठो देखिबो चमड़ा होली थिला, एठो देखिबो चमड़ा चारियाडे चमड़ा होली थिला. Crisscross of wrinkles everywhere to everywhere. No, we were certain she had always been as we had known her. Okay, so no, we were certain she had always been as we had known her. आमे ताकू जेमती देखुतलु से सेमती ही देखा जाउतिला. दीर्घ 20 वर्ष धरी तार कोनसी परिवर्तन हे नथिला. Old, so terribly old that she could not have grown older. सो टेरिबली ओल्ड एते भयानक भाव से वृद्ध हो जाइथिला बुढ़ी होउथिला जे आ बुढ़ी हो नथिला रे पिले बुढ़ी आ बुढ़ी हो नथिला बुढ़ी आ को बुढ़ी हबो हैं तो मरिबा समय हलानी सो what happened so terribly old that she could not have grown older एते बुढ़ी हेतिला जे आ बुढ़ी हो नथिला से एते बुढ़ी हेतिला जे आ बुढ़ी हो नथिला आ किछि परिवर्तन हो नथिला जेमति थिला सेमति ही थिला and had stayed at the same age for 20 years and she had stayed at the same age से बयस होते कि ता पाखरे बयस हार मानि जाइतिला से बयस को अटकै दैतिला आ सही परिस्थिति रे से केते वर्ष हैला थिला दीर्घ 20 वर्ष हैला थिला had stayed at the same age for 20 years she could never have been pretty but she was always beautiful से आकर्षणीय नथिला ताकू देखिले से माने सेमती जेमती अलगा स्त्री लोकों को देखिले सेमती हमको फीलिंग आसुनथिला बट सी वाज ब्यूटीफुल किंतु तार बयस रे से सुंदर थिला तार बयस रे से जेते कि सुंदर थिबा कथा सेति कि सुंदर थिला सी वाज नॉट प्रेटी बट सी वाज beautiful she hobbled about the house in spotless white hobbled about means to move hobbled about to move से बुला बुली करथुला घर ए घर से घर से घर ए घर को जाउथुला हबल्ड अबाउट इन स्पॉटलेस व्हाइट विधवा लोक केमती साड़ी पिनंती धड़ा साड़ी पिनंती सो से धड़ा साड़ी पिन के से तो गोरा लोक थिले पुनी धड़ा साड़ी पिनथले गोटे स्पॉटलेस व्हाइट चेहरा तांकर थिला she hobbled about the house in spotless white with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop and the other telling the beats of her rosary बीट्स पर रोजारी रोजारी कहले जपा माला रे पिले कौन रोजारी मालमुणी माल माल बीड कहले से जो माल रे लागि थिबो छोट छोट गोटी सब गोटी गोटी सब माने छोट छोट होगी थाए देखी माल बुढ़ा बुढ़ी लोक मैंने तुलसी माल पिंधती से माल जो गोटे गोटे आम कौन कहू बीट्स दीज आर कॉल्ड बीट्स से छोट छोट जो माल सब थाए से भितर गुंथा थाए गुंथिला माल हुए तो बीट्स अपर रोजारी with one hand resting on her waist केमती करथिबो गोटे हाथ तार अंटारे थिबो गोटे हाथ रे माल जपुथिबो के यस माय ग्रैंडमदर waist to balance her stoop कहले बेंट stoop कहले बेंच से जो बंके जाउथुला से बंके बाटा को से तळु को नई बाटा को बैलेंस करबा पई से कोन करे अंटारे गोटे हाथ दिए गोटे हाथ रे माल धरि के चले के कथन करे जेजेमा waist to balance her stoop and the other telling the beats of her rosary गोट अलगा हाथ रे माल जपे beats her rosary her silver locks here the silver locks means you know it is compared with the hair white hair of the lady grandmother तो बुढ़ी रो बाल सब पूरा धड़ा हे छिला हां ताको रूपार ये लॉक्स सहित तुलना करा छी silver locks were scattered means here and there चारियाडे माने अवस्थित अव्यवस्थित ढंगरे स्कैटर्ड कहले अव्यवस्थित ढंगरे याडे सियाडे मुंह सारा पड़ी थाए स्कैटर अनटाइडली इतस्तत भावे अनटाइडली कहले इतस्तत भावे अनटाइडली ओवर पेल कहले फीका माने बुढ़ा बुढ़ी लोकर मुह तो पूरा यंग तुम मान को भलिया माने दबदबी बनी ना से फीका पड़ी जाते तार मुह हर पेल पकड़ कहले माने खाल हे जाइथिबो मुहटा चमड़ा सब खाल हो जाइथिबो होली थिबो तो गात भलिया देखा जाउथिबो पकड़ फेस एंड हर लिप्स कंस्टेंटली मूव्ड इन इनऑडिबल प्रेयर एंड हर लिप्स कंस्टेंटली मूव्ड इन इनऑडिबल प्रेयर सब लाइक दिस से सब बेले माल जपुथिबो के कंस्टेंटली इनऑडिबल प्रेयर इनऑडिबल माने सुना न जाउथबा प्रार्थना करूथबो सेमती so over her pale puckered face and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer yes she was beautiful निश्चित भाव से सुंदर थिला तार बयस रे से निश्चित भाव सुंदर थिला she was like the winter landscape in the mountains से के भलिया थिला winter landscape in the mountains सते कि शीत दिन रे जंगल रो जंगल उपरे बरफ पड़े जमी सुंदर देखा जाए गोटे व्हाइट आस्तरण सृष्टि करे से भाया winter landscape in the mountain and expanse pure white serenity and expanse means spread pure white serenity कहले peacefulness an expanse of pure white serenity breathing peace and contentment कहले joy pile contentment कहले satisfaction contentment कहले satisfaction okay so breathing peace and contentment शांत ର ପ୍ରତୀକ ଆଉ ସଫଳତାର ପ୍ରତୀକ satisfaction ର ପ୍ରତୀକ ଥିଲା ମୋର ଜେଜେମା ଆମ ଘରେ ତା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ବାତାବରଣ ଶାନ୍ତ ବାତାବରଣ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହେଉଥିଲା ସେ ସତେକି ଗୋଟେ ଶାନ୍ତିର ପ୍ରତୀକ ଶାନ୍ତିର କପୋତ ସଦୃଶ ଆମ ଘରେ ସେ ଥିଲା ଆଉ ସେ ଏମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରୁଥିଲା ଯେ ସତେକି ଗୋଟେ ଶ୍ୟାମଳ ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ଉପରେ ବରଫର ଗୋଟେ ଆସ୍ତରଣ ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହେଲେ ଯେମିତି ସୁନ୍ଦର ଦେଖାଯାଏ ଆମ ଘର ମୋ ଜେଜେମାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ସେଭଳିଆ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଦେଖାଯାଉଥିଲା. That's all from Unity 1. Let us see what are the questions there. So, why was it hard for the author to believe that his grandmother was once young and pretty? His grandmother, because the reason is that the author had been watching his grandmother for last 20 years and she had no change at all. That's why he was thinking that that's why it was hard to believe for him that she was once young and pretty. Next, how did the grandfather appear in his portrait? Yeah, the portrait of his grandfather was hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room, and she looked just like 100 years old man. His long beards covered the best part of his chest and with loose fitting clothes, and he was looking like such type of person who was only lots and lots of grandchildren. Next, what sorts of person did he look in his portrait? Did he look in about whom? A question kaha pai ache at a grandfather ko to se ki bhaliya person dekhe dole he was looking such type of a person who has only lots and lots of grandchildren, and it is hard to believe that once he was married and he had son and daughter. How does the author portray his grandmother? His grandmother was a symbol of peace and serenity. He had crisscross all over his face, and he is walking with the hand on her waist and telling the beads of her rosary. And she was a short, fat, and a bent lady. Yeah, she was managing to bend. Why does he say the thought was almost revolting? The thought was almost revolting because the author known his grandmother for 20 years, and for those 20 years she was just looking like the same grandmother. That's why when people were telling that she was once married and she was beautiful, in that case, it was hard to believe, and that thought was revolting inside the author. How can such type of a lady can be, pretty and attractive and also married? The grandmother had a divine beauty. How did the author bring this, out? Here, the author is comparing his grandmother with, winter landscape in the mountain. And he has also compared that she was a symbol of, white serenity, and she was a symbol of contentment and breathe. Yeah, that's all from the story. Okay, see you in the next chapter. And somebody, my subscriber Harshavardhan was telling, sir, go for the question and answer while teaching the chapter. Tell us about the question and answer related to the unit, especially inside question. Okay, I'll try. Okay, let me complete the chapter and I'll try to go again from the unit based question, not text based question or think out question. I'll go to the unit based question, whatever I'll teach again, and I'll go for describing sentence by sentence, and from that sentence what question can be formed. Okay, so keep watching, keep subscribing, and like and share. Okay, bye bye till the next video.